Topics covered in trigonometric functions. So now we're diving into trigonometric functions. This chapter will give you a complete introduction to these important functions, sine, cosine, and tangent, and show you how they're actually used. So now we're diving into trigonometric functions. This chapter will give you a complete introduction to these important functions, sine, cosine, and tangent, and show you how they're actually used. We'll start by looking at right-angled triangles. You'll learn how the angles within these triangles relate to the ratios of their sides. Specifically, we'll define sine, cosine, and tangent based on these side ratios. But we won't stop there. We'll then move beyond just right-angled triangles and use something called the unit circle. This allows us to understand these functions for any angle, not just angles up to 90 degrees. Think of it as expanding our toolkit. Finally, we'll see how these functions can be combined, adding and subtracting them, and how that changes things. These are called sum and difference identities, and they're really useful for solving more complex problems. And as we'll see on the next slide, all of this isn't just abstract math. It has real-world applications in a ton of different fields. Real-world applications of trigonometric functions. It's easy to think of math as just abstract concepts, but trigonometry is actually a fundamental tool in a huge number of fields. Think about surveying, people measuring land to create maps or plan construction. They use trigonometric principles to accurately determine distances and heights, even when they can't physically walk the entire area. Then there's navigation, whether it's piloting a ship, flying a plane, or even using GPS. Trigonometry helps determine position and chart the best course to get from one place to another. Looking up at the stars, astronomers rely heavily on trigonometry to calculate vast distances to stars and planets, distances you can barely even imagine. And it doesn't stop there. In physics, understanding wave motion, how projectiles travel, and even the forces acting on objects all involve trigonometric functions. Engineers use these same functions when designing buildings, bridges, and all sorts of other structures, as well as in things like signal processing. Essentially, if you're considering a career in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, any STEM field, a strong grasp of trigonometry is absolutely essential. But even beyond that, the problem-solving skills you develop while studying trigonometry are valuable in many different areas of life. So, on the previous slide, we started to look at what trigonometric functions are, sine, cosine, and tangent, and how they relate to angles and triangles. Now, let's talk about why we learn this. This slide highlights just how useful trigonometry is in the real world.